Hey, good day, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Manager's Life. Uh, for starters, I would like to thank everyone that has recently subscribed to my channel. I appreciate every one of you. I would also like to thank everyone that have been leaving comments in the comment section. I thank every one of you as well because without you people, I would not have a channel. I mean, my channel has been growing at a much faster rate than ever before, and I appreciate every one of you that have been tuning in and watching my videos. And I would also like to apologize for not dropping more videos. Now I would say the last couple of weeks, give or take, I've been having issues with my internet service, and I've been going back and forth with my provider, and it's been a bunch of nonsense. So to make a long story short, that's the reason why I have not been dropping a whole lot of videos. But, in the near future, I will have that situation resolved. So for now, I'm going to make a quick video using my cell phone. And obviously, I'm going to still continue to do drive around videos, but right now, between my internet acting up, I've been busy trying to deal with all that. And also, I've been busy trying to deal with some other stuff, which I'll explain on a much later video. But I noticed as I was on the MLS looking at houses up in Indiana, because I told you guys before that I was wanting to buy a house up in Indiana and move back up to Indiana. Now, now, despite some of the propaganda that's out here talking about how the housing market has slowed up and how people aren't out here buying houses and the market's in trouble. I mean, maybe there might be a few parts of the country where, yeah, that might be the case. But I know here in Alabama and I also know up in Indiana, that is not the case. I mean, if someone has a property up for sale and the property is in half decent condition and it's also in a half decent neighborhood, it doesn't even necessarily gotta be in the suburbs, just a half decent neighborhood. I would say on average that house might stay on the MLS for about a week before it gets a contract put on it. So as a active person looking to purchase a home in Indiana, and I have also had my eye on the housing market in Alabama, and I'll explain all that in more detail on a later video. I know for a fact that when you hear some of these larger YouTube channels talking about how the housing market slowed up and people aren't buying houses no more and houses are starting to be for sale at a discount, don't listen to that garbage. I mean, every market is different. So whatever market that you're wanting to purchase in, worry about the information that's legitimate to that market. Don't pay too much attention to some of these people that be on this YouTube spitting propaganda. And also, I forgot what I was gonna say. And also, maybe a year or I mean, just a few months ago, like maybe 6 months ago, give or take, if you were to put a house on the market, that house, if the house was in half decent shape, it might have a contract on it within a matter of a few days. If the house needed a little bit of work, or if it was in an area that wasn't the most desirable area, even then the house might have a contract on it within, I would say, a couple of weeks. Now, I would say for the time being, those days are pretty much behind us. I mean, on average, in a normal housing market, if you put a house on the market, it's going to take closer to 90 days for your home to get a contract on it. So just because it might take you a few days longer to sell your home now than it took before does not mean that the housing market is in trouble. So for those of you that are looking to sell your home, don't panic. Get in touch with your realtor and go ahead and put your house on the MLS and do what you do. If you're looking to buy a house, again, get with your realtor and go out here and look for whatever type of home you're wanting to look for that's within your budget and do what you do. But for those of you that are looking to buy, I will tell you right now, the housing market is still busy. The housing market, in my opinion, is still a bit nuts. I mean, I mean, I know here in Alabama, and I also know up in Indiana, if you're looking to buy a house for, let's say, even $100,000, for $100,000, a lot of times what you will get is a piece of garbage. I mean, either A, the house will have a very small lot. B, it will be somewhere in a bad neighborhood. C, if it's in a half decent neighborhood, the house will most likely need a substantial amount of repairs. In this market, if you come across, in this market, I've been told by the realtors whom I'm working with that houses that are priced up to $150,000 or the $150,000 price range is a very common price that many people who are in the Indiana or Alabama market are spending for a home. Now, obviously, if you live on the coastal lines, like on the east and west coast, then the prices that are more common in those areas are going to obviously be much more expensive. But in general, I would say from $100,000 to $150,000 is a common price range that many people are spending for a home in states like Indiana and Alabama, because there's a lot of people out here like myself that we're looking for a house. However, we don't want anything that's falling down to the ground. We don't want to buy anything for, let's say, 50,000, and then we gotta do another $50,000 to $60,000 worth of renovations, and which is gonna oftentimes involve chasing contractors and, depending on where you live, making sure everything that's done is done correctly and up to code. And I ain't got time for that crap. And I know many of you out here looking for a house don't got time for that crap. In fact, if you're getting financing, the bank is not going to allow you to finance a complete fixer-upper. At least to my knowledge, that they're not going to. And before I ramble for too much longer, I'm going to also let you guys know, for those of you that are looking to purchase a home in Indiana, if you're like me, you're working class and you're in your 40s and you still have to work for a living. Right now, almost anywhere you go in this country, it seems there's going to always be a job available for you, no matter what type of skill level that you're at. But in my humble opinion, if you're gonna buy a house and you're gonna be in in my opinion, if you're gonna buy a house, it's a good idea to think long term. Like, what's it gonna be, 10, 20, 30 years from today? Don't just think in terms of the next couple of years or so. Think in terms of the next decade, the next 2 or 3 decades. Think long term when you buy a house, because if you don't, you will go out here and lose a lot of money. And you will be extremely frustrated and tired. Because, trust me, take my word, I've been there, I've done it, I made all the bad decisions, I made those bad mistakes, so take my word. But if you're looking to buy a house in Indiana, and you're someone who works a 9 to 5 storefront type of job, the part of Indiana that's going to offer you the absolute best economy. When I talk economy, I'm talking the wages in which a job pays. I'm also talking the amount of opportunities that are in a Pacific area. So when it comes to the economy in Indiana, your best bet is going to be to move somewhere that's within an hour of the greater Indianapolis area. So if you're wanting to live in a small town or rural community or the suburbs, my suggestion would be to pick a community that's within an hour of greater Indianapolis. Because Indianapolis is going to offer you the best economy with the most job choices and most likely the highest pay. But if you don't want to live in mid Indiana, okay. Okay. The next best decision next to mid Indiana would be Northeast Indiana, which would basically put you in the greater Fort Wayne, Indiana area. So again, when you're looking to buy a house in Indiana and you're still having to work, and maybe you're, like I said, if you're the Northeast Indiana area, it's going to basically be the greater Fort Wayne area. So any community that's within an hour of greater Fort Wayne, you're going to want to look for a house in that area. Now, to be completely honest, I don't, I'm pretty sure there's some of you out here that might be interested in buying in Northwest Indiana. Now, I know there's a lot of people that are not from Indiana. You're from out of state. You're from even out of the country, and you're looking to buy properties in Northwest Indiana. Maybe you're looking to buy in Gary, or you're looking to buy in Hammond. Now, my suggestion is if you're one of these people that have to work for a living, and for whatever reason you want to purchase a home in Northwest Indiana, the closest major city obviously is going to be Chicago. So if you don't have an issue with being in a bunch of traffic all the time, and you don't have an issue with paying higher property taxes, and you don't have an issue with colder and more harsh winters compared to the rest of Indiana, and you don't have an issue with paying all the toll fees that you're going to most likely pay to travel from Northwest Indiana to Greater Chicago, then I guess in that case you might like Northwest Indiana. Now, economically speaking, like I told you, your best bet is going to be Indianapolis, and then after that will be the greater Fort Wayne area, which is Northeast Indiana. And I would say economically, Northwest Indiana is going to probably be your worst. Even though it's within an hour of Chicago, Chicago's economy is okay. Now if you're a little bit money or you're an entrepreneur, okay, Chicago might be good for you if you like that type of environment. But I would say if you're someone who's got to work for a living, I would say the economy in Chicago at best it's okay. It's functionable. Now, as far as living in southern Indiana, if you're wanting to move to southern Indiana because maybe you don't want to live in mid or northern Indiana, you want somewhere that's a few degrees warmer with a tad bit less snow. And another good thing about southern Indiana is in southern Indiana, you're gonna have a lot of communities that have rolling hills. Now me personally, I think southern Indiana is beautiful. Parts of southern Indiana will remind you of Kentucky or even mid Tennessee. So if you want to live in southern Indiana, let's see. If you want to live in southeast Indiana, like, going closer to the greater Louisville area, that part of southern Indiana is going to be your best bet. it's going to be better than moving to Southwest Indiana, which if you go to Southwest Indiana, that's going to put you closer into Evansville. That's where Evansville is at. Now the economy in Louisville, I mean, again, it's not the best. It's okay. It's functionable. It's not as good. The economy in Louisville is not as good as Indianapolis or Fort Wayne, but the greater Louisville economy is going to be better than the economy in Evansville because obviously, I mean, Louisville is a much bigger city, so you will have much more opportunities, and the jobs will probably pay a little better as a result. Now, as far as it goes for living in Southeast Indiana, I've done plenty of videos down there. The only major city in Southern Indiana which I have not done is Jeffersonville. But you know, I've done Clarksville, I've done New Albany, I've done Sillersburg, and I think there's one other city I've done down there. I have to think about it. But anyways, if you want to move to Southern Indiana, and I'm going to do this, and I will do a video of Jeffersonville, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you're wanting to move to Southern Indiana, in my humble opinion, your best bet is going to be to move to Jeffersonville. Now, in my opinion, Jeffersonville is not a bad place to live. Clarksville is not a bad place. Now, New Albany, to me, I was not a fan of New Albany. New Albany was ran down. Now, if you're looking for a smaller community in Southern Indiana, a good place to live would be Sellersburg. Now, I got that video on my channel, so go check it out. Now, as far as it goes for Southwest Indiana, now me personally, I've been to Evansville. I've done a few videos on Evansville, so if you haven't looked at that video, go check it out. Now, me personally, I'm not going to say that I'm the biggest fan of Evansville. Now Evansville, I don't know, I just thought Evansville was a little ran down. Now, there were parts of Evansville that were decent, but I thought Evansville as a whole was a little ran down. So I'm not going to say that I was a big fan of Evansville. Now, I would have to go back out to Southwest Indiana to do some smaller communities. Like, the next time I do Indiana videos, I'm gonna get out to Santa Claus and do Santa Claus, which is not too far from Evansville. But just off the top of my head, that's basically my 2 cents about Indiana when it comes to the economy. Because there's a lot of you people out here, you're buying houses. Many of you are desperate to buy a house. You want to hurry up and buy a house before the interest rates go up so high that you can't even afford to buy a house. You'll be stuck having to rent. And we all know how high rent prices have went up all over the country. So I thought I would just go ahead and make this video. Just give you guys a little bit of insights of what's going on realistically in the housing market. Not what some of these larger YouTubers are going to try to tell you. And I also wanted to educate you people on the economy in Indiana. So for those of you that are coming from California or you're coming from the Northeast somewhere and you're looking to buy a home in Indiana for you and your family, it's a good idea to know what parts of Indiana to buy a house in. I mean, your experience of Indiana is going to be far different if you buy a house somewhere within an hour of greater Indianapolis or within an hour of greater Fort Wayne versus buying a house that's going to be somewhere up in Northwest Indiana. So If you have any questions or you have any concerns, whatever that's on your mind, leave a comment below. And like always, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Andrew's Life. And until next time, you guys have a blessed one.